In this video, we'll show you how to change the rear brake caliper on your Chevy Silverado. You can find it on CarParts.com via the link in the description. For safety reasons, we strongly suggest watching our video, How to Jack Your Chevy Silverado Safely. Open the brake fluid reservoir. Place a container to collect the fluid under the caliper, since the brake fluid may leak out. Using a ratchet and an 11mm socket, unscrew the Banjo screw connecting the hose to the caliper. Then remove it. Here's a tip. You can limit brake fluid leakage during this operation by plugging both sides of the Banjo screw with Banjo shutter pliers. With a 13mm wrench, unscrew the slide pins. Sometimes you have to keep the lock nut from turning by holding it with your fingers or a 20mm wrench. Finish unscrewing by hand. You can now remove the caliper. Remove the brake pads by prying them out with a flathead screwdriver. Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now. Using a socket wrench and an 18mm socket, unscrew the two holding bolts on the caliper mount. Depending on the state of the bolts on the caliper mount, it may be necessary to use a hammer to loosen them. Remove the caliper mount. You can order the brake caliper and caliper mount used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Get the new assembly and unscrew the slide pins. Take the new caliper mount. Reassemble the caliper mount by screwing first by hand. Then with a socket wrench and an 18mm socket to lock them in place. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Grab the pads and lightly coat the ends with copper grease to help them slide more easily. Insert the pads into the caliper mount by sliding them in. Before installing the new caliper, apply a medium thread locker to prevent accidental unscrewing. Put the brake caliper back in place and screw in the slide pins by hand at first. Screw them in using a 13mm wrench. You can use a 20mm wrench to prevent the bolts from rotating. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Use pliers to remove the rubber plug from the caliper. Get the new seals and the Banjo screw. Put a seal on the Banjo screw and install the assembly on the hose. Then put the second seal on the Banjo screw. Screw the Banjo screw that connects the brake hose to the caliper back in until it makes contact. Using brake cleaner and paper towels, clean the contact surface between the brake caliper and the brake hose. When replacing a brake caliper, you need to bleed the brake fluid system to remove air from the system. To do this, we suggest watching our video, How to Bleed the Brake Fluid System Chevy Silverado. After bleeding, remember to clean the caliper disc assembly with brake cleaner. Then you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. Put the car back on the ground and block the wheels properly. Don't forget to screw the brake fluid cap back on before starting the car. Attention! Before using your vehicle again, start your car and pump the brake pedal a few times to push the brake pads together again. Try to drive smoothly and avoid sudden braking for the first 30 miles or so to avoid glazing the new pads. Operation complete.